You yet on BBC Radio Shropshire. Good morning, 8:48. Who will be the next Prime Minister? Boris Johnson is, as we know, on his way out, but who's likely to put their name in the hat to replace him? Georgia Gilholy is a political commentator and a columnist for the right-wing blog Conservative Home and joins me now on the programme. Georgia, good morning.
Morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. Who is on the list then? Who's put their name forward?
Gosh, I mean, in terms of officially putting their name forward, I think that list is quite slim right now. In terms of people who are definitely running, we know Tom Tugendhat and Suella Braverman seem to have last night, while their campaign teams followed me on Twitter, so I'm assuming they'll be putting themselves forward. Steve Baker did an interview yesterday or the day before talking about how he criticised Boris Johnson on principle, but that now in the light of his resignation, he could be up for the top job. Be interesting to see if someone like him, who's never been in the cabinet, would get the number of nominations. Bit of a dark horse candidate. We obviously have people who've been in the cabinet like Sajid Javid, Rishi Sunak, Liz Truss. Even talk that someone like Priti Patel might go forward. Don't think she's particularly popular, so that'll be interesting. So much choice. Who knows if it will be whittled down already by next week.
What will the party look for in a new leader, do you think?
That's a very difficult question. In terms of the party grassroots, I think Ben Wallace is very popular due to his handling with Ukraine, but I do think in general a lot of the grassroots would prefer someone who's maybe been a bit more hardline on Brexit. So people who've been in the cabinet, for example, they wouldn't necessarily be cheering on Jeremy Hunt, say. However, he is decently popular with MPs, so he could get the nominations to run again. Interesting to see. I think there's something of a dividing line between the party grassroots and the MPs, and I think maybe it will be decided quite differently if the grassroots are allowed to vote, but we don't know if that's going to happen yet. And obviously that could prolong the contest, which maybe people don't really want at this point.
When do you foresee there being a new Prime Minister then?
I mean, it could be 2 months, it could be 2 weeks. Literally today, you couldn't say because we don't know who's running. We don't know how they're going to perform in debates, etc., hustings. So maybe in a few more days' time, it could be easier to comment on that. But right now, there's just too many moving parts.
And you were talking about the potential makeup of the new leader. Do you think it will be more likely a Brexiteer than a Remainer?
It's hard to say because someone like Ben Wallace, I mean, he did actually support Remain, but he wasn't sort of, on the front lines of campaigning for it. So when people look at Ben Wallace, they don't think, oh, Remain, like they do maybe with Jeremy Hunt, obviously with Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party, who sort of campaigned for a second referendum. So I think that it could be someone who wasn't necessarily on the Leave side in 2016, but have been sort of quite happy to go along with, let's say, Boris Johnson's line of thinking on Brexit since then. I think that will be palatable to most Tory grassroots. Who knows if it will be palatable with the general public? But to be honest, by the time there's a new general election, I think there will still be scepticism of people who are very much against Brexit, like Keir Starmer, but I think the economy is going to be the main issue in the next election.
Georgia, thank you very much indeed for your time this morning. Georgia Gilholy is a political commentator and